If your summer isn't hot enough, well, have we got good news for you? Because it's time for the Contenders Summer Series in A. My name is Sam Tonks. Joining me, of course, is the amazing To Try Hard Ray. And Ray, we have one heck of a way to start off the Contenders Summer Series. And we are going to be starting off, obviously, with O3 Splash versus Amplify. And, well, we got to talk about O3 Splash here a little bit, Ray, because, well, some very exciting things are going on with this roster.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming off quite the run from contenders. I mean, they had, an average, go about it in the regular season. They went 6-5. They hit the playoffs and they go on a tear. They go all the way up and they get third place. So incredible. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and bring up their roster because they have made some key improvements. Looking at O3 Splash, adding Infected coming from Trick Room, same with Boat, but Infected specifically being able to bolster down that main tank, and Cowman's always a fantastic off tank, so their tank line much improved. And then specifically Deco on the support adds so much stability there, and talking with their manager, Deco and Neutral specifically have been grinding. They have been working so hard to be the best support players they can be for O3 Splash.
Absolutely. They want to bring that energy in. They want to be able to prove themselves. And what better way to do that than by tonight, seeing the fruits of their labors. But of course, with it just being tonight, there's still an entire series ahead of us. So a lot of room to continue to gel together and improve together as a team. Now, speaking of team, let's go ahead and talk about our other one, Amplify, who, Ray, they didn't quite have the best of the spring series, right? They struggled a little bit there, obviously ending up in 11th place. But this roster, Ray, this new and improved roster, basically built from the ground up. This could be what they need to turn things around big time.
And the player to highlight coming into this roster is Doge. Brings in not only OWL experience, but so much NAEU contenders experience. Just has so many badges on his chest. And has been, from what I'm hearing, a big-time leader, that in-game shot caller, just organizing the team and putting them in the right place for success.
Yeah, this is a roster, though, that we really do want to keep an eye on, right, Ray? This is a roster that it kind of came together at the last second. They're still forming together strategy, still working together, getting used to each other as a team. So here at the very beginning, right, could be a completely different team than what we see at the end of this series.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind that I'm sure a lot of you folks were on Twitter, and as the roster lock deadlines were coming for contenders, there were so many teams, quickly trying to put together, trying to get these players in place, trying to get these signings going down, and, they just didn't have as much scrim time as a full, 5 or 4, 6 or 7 as they would have liked. So some of these teams might not be at their best right out the gate, but that's why I think coming into this O3 Splash, someone whose core has stayed intact is going to be at a slighter advantage just because they have that inbuilt synergy coming in.
I agree, and this is going to be something interesting to watch, just like our round one matches all across the contenders. Good Boys, Pirates in Pajamas, Timeless. We have a lot of really amazing teams on here. Obviously, some new faces as well. So really exciting to be able to sit here in round one and to be able to watch this O3 Splash versus Amplify game. And of course, there's still a multitude of other games that are happening across Twitch. Ray, it's exciting to be here, though. It's exciting to have contenders back, and it's exciting to be here at the ground level.
Yeah, just for everyone's knowledge, with this Timeless event that's going on, we have live on the O3 Splash channel. Good Boys and Pirates in Pajamas are actually live on the Contenders channel. Rift is live. We got the Timeless game live on the Timeless channel. So much Overwatch Tier 2 Contenders games to just enjoy and grab those snacks and those drinks, and you're going to be in for a treat.
You are going to be in for a treat. This is what we love the most about this scene. This is what makes Tier 2 so special. And to be here as well, something a little bit different, something that we're not entirely used to seeing, right? A community-run event being able to show off some of the games that aren't happening on stream so that you, the viewer, get the best possible experience across all of the different avenues of Overwatch Contenders. Now, Ray, of course, we got to talk about what map we're going to be starting off on. And I'm pretty sure if I'm looking at this correctly, we do have our first map locked in. If I'm seeing it here, I believe we are going to Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this goes. You thinking about the meta, if I just think back to contenders in Overwatch League of recently, I mean, Winston tends to be very powerful with that Tracer Sombra combination, but we've had changes since that time. Many patches have come in. May specifically has been changed, that has that slow effect, has all that damage when you get the full freeze and hit the icicle, especially coming into Antarctica where you expect a little bit more brawl on the labs and in the icebreaker sub map. Maybe we start to see some Ramatra really become dominant.
Maybe it's when you talk about Antarctic Peninsula, it's been out for a little while now. Teams have been able to really work around figuring out and understanding what needs to be done to be able to find great success in here. And it was like you said, the meta is leaning towards this Winston dive composition. But the way that Antarctic, it's still kind of claustrophobic. Like you said, perhaps Ramatra can be able to spread their wings, really able to get in there and really be able to show themselves off. When it comes to that dive style composition though, right, Ray, that's a composition that requires a lot of coordination. And that's something when you're a little shaky in your roster, how well is that going to be working out? How well are some of these newer rosters going to be able to capitalize on what needs to be done as a dive style composition?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the same thing for any brawl style rush compositions because it predicates itself on everyone being clumped together as a full five and moving together on targets with your Lucio speed boost and just going after people one by one. So teamwork is going to be the key in all of these compositions. So like I mentioned, I think O3 Splash just has an inherent advantage just because they have that main core still there. So that synergy is going to be there. It's tough to bring in a basically full new roster and expect perfect synergy day one.
There it is indeed. So it is going to be Antarctic Peninsula to start things off. So it's getting hot out here in summer. We're going to chill out a little bit with the beautiful sights of Antarctica. And we've talked about it a lot, what we could potentially be seeing here, how the teams are going to delve with each other, the rosters, what could be coming out of Amplify, especially we're going to be wanting to keep a close eye on them and the new and improved O3 Splash. But here we have it, Ray. We're finally in game. We're finally about to start things off. But like you said, you called it. We're seeing some Ramatra.
Yeah, I think on this map specifically, and as we delve into Icebreaker specifically, we're going to see the brawl. It's the sub-level map that I think Winston could peek its head. But the major difference we're seeing here is Lukewarm is going on this Sojourn. So it predicates itself on him nailing those rail shots and getting those pickoffs because PGE on this Reaper is just going to output so much more damage. But Amplify is going to have to be quick to the draw because Moira's heals are limited.
That they are. O3 Splash going to position themselves onto the point before Amplify does. Still hanging out towards this back area. Both teams kind of have an eye on it, but this middle position is going to be pushed forward by Amplify. PGE dipping dangerously low, still has absolutely no health to be able to work with. A very dangerous moment for this Reaper, but both teams have meds on the field. O3 Splash getting closer, and Lukewarm to spill the first blood on the snowy plains of Antarctica with a headshot onto tap. One tapping them, trying to reposition up in the air. PGE going to trade things out. Beautifully well done. O3 Splash just not able to stand up to PGE's Reaper, and that's going to be them at the very least looking like they're going to take this first point.
Yeah, and just looking, I mean, Lukewarm got that opening pick with the Sojourn, but they needed to find more because PGE was just in the face of that entire team with the Hellfire Shotguns, but what comes there? There it is!
You can't count out O3 Splash until the team fight is over. Cowman built themselves up to an annihilation. Now Lukewarm back on the field. When we thought it was all over for them, O3 Splash said, hold on a second. Cowman coming in big with that annihilation.
Absolutely ridiculous from Cowman. As we look to this next fight, the big thing is CNT is going to have this annihilation of their own, so the advantage goes to Amplify in this next fight, especially since they're going to have this sound barrier online and Deco has not built to it yet.
Amplify looks so beautiful going into this, but taking a lot of damage getting onto there. O3 Splash, you're seeing Lukewarm with that overclock. They want to pop it off, but Deco has been taken off the field. Lukewarm, no way that they're able to land that railgun headshot onto Doge. Still looking around for more opportunities. Amplify coming up, even without their tank, is still able to right the ship and to get the point right back into their favor.
the consolation prize you get if you're O3 splashes, you force out a lot of ultimates from Amplify. You get to come back and you're very close to this blizzard from Boat, and you force out their sound barrier from this next fight. So that is the win condition they are looking for. Speed in there, set up Boat for a fantastic blizzard, and that just makes Lukewarm's jobs easier when you don't have a moving target anymore.
Exactly. Take that away from them and be able to find what you need to get out of that. Amplify, just hanging back, looking for a good opportunity to maybe use this blizzard, hiding out on the high ground. We're seeing Doge pop off right now with that annihilation. Push O3 splash back quick as you can. O3, they're going to respect that. They're going to get away from it. We're going to see the amplification matrix being used, giving them that window to get control of the point and give themselves room to maneuver around. O3 Splash has a multitude of ultimates to be able to work around with here. Has not really popped one until Cowman decides that it is time to start annihilating. But with Tap gone, you've lost that Blizzard and any chance of being able to hold on to this. O3 Splash, it is unreal what they can accomplish.
And the ridiculous part, Sam, was I mentioned that their win condition was getting Boat in there and using sound barrier. They don't even need that stinking sound barrier. Cowman is playing amazingly on this Ramatra, builds up to the annihilation, and just absolutely obliterates Amplify off the field. They get to come into the next fight, however, if you're Amplify. This coalescence is going to be big. Last fight that Buddy had this online, they were able to take the fight cleanly and swiftly. So they got to do that once again.
Yeah, Tap, they're still trying to find a moment to use this Blizzard, but Boat's going to be the one to initiate things here. D going to pop the sound barrier as well, just a little bit of extra maneuverability. Oh, you found Tap out in the best possible position. The Blizzard goes down, but the only one caught inside of it is a ice blocked May. Boat is perfectly fine going out on the other side of it, and they're still trying to duel off here against PGE. But now with that power boosted sound barrier, Amplified might be able to find something here, especially if PGE is hit something big outside of this Death Blossom. A lot of damage onto Cowman, and indeed so, with the tank being taken out, O3 Splash, even though they are still have a lot on the field, you can always count them out. They are going to fall. Amplify getting it back.
You get that to 94% if you're O3 Special. You get that to one fight territory just from the stalls alone, which is fantastic. And the best part, if you're O3 Splash, Amplification Matrix is online for you, and you have been winning this annihilation battle with both tanks coming online here. Doge has to come through big for Amplify to continue to hold this with this annihilation online.
A lot of pressure onto Doge. Let's see if they're going to be able to rise up and meet that occasion. Neutral, getting a little bit bullied, but still holding on to this backline. That is a beautiful opening pick from Boat onto PGE. No more Reaper to worry about here, but you've taken out Boat from Doge. This annihilation has come up, but we're seeing both of them on the field. A lot of pretty colors. Tap diving right into it, eliminated. Now with the loss of Doge, no more left to be able to survive. Amplify, you're going to see Buddy just throw out that coalescence. Got to do something. Got to get something here. It's just all going to fall to pieces, but with them being the only ones left on the field, it is going to be PGE on the Soldier 76. How much longer can these two survive? I'll tell you right now, Ray, it's not going to be. It's just scraps at this point to try and give Amplify something. They're finding picks here and there, but it's just not going to be enough. O3 Splash looking very strong to take this first round.
Yeah, I mean, O3 Splash played this map picture perfectly, Sam. The key to this map is holding that high ground, especially when you're running a Sojourn like Lukewarm, just to give him that oversight, that high ground to be able to easily hit those rail shots. And the Amplify just did not do a good enough job of taking that away. And Lukewarm was basically able to just play with his food and get those headshots. So very impressive from O3 Splash, but Amplify pushing O3 Splash to the edge. So I'm liking what I see out of them. Doge and Tap specifically to me have been standouts on this tank and DPS duo. And PGE on that Reaper quietly was putting in a lot of work. Again, they just needed to get Luke off of that high ground.
Exactly. I mean, you look at what PGE was able to accomplish on that Reaper for Amplify. One of the points basically was captured thanks to their efforts on that Reaper Death Blossom. We're seeing a almost perfect mirror matchup here. The only difference is between our tanks. Cowman still sticking with that Ramatra. Doge deciding, let's see what we can do with this Winsome, what we can accomplish. But it's going to be that coordination we're talking about, right? Diving up onto the high ground, seeing if they can find a support by themselves. But O3 Splash is not giving them that opportunity.
Yeah, this is the one map where I thought the Winston would come into play just because the high ground control and the ability to set up dives is very powerful on this map. But you cannot allow for a brawl to break out on this point. And Amplify is just letting this happen. Doge is taking so much damage.
Yeah, Doge took so much damage, forced themselves on to the high ground, giving it up down there below for 0-3. You're seeing what could go wrong, though, with this Ramatra, though, and we're seeing some of the effects happening here. They're stuck down on the ground by themselves. Amplify realized this, and now it's all come together thanks to the efforts of Tap and PE. Amplify going to get the first capture of this point.
The one problem O3 Splash was facing as well is when you're playing this Ramatra competition, I talked about how important it is to stay as a group. And when that brawl broke out on the point where they're favored, they kind of all just split and were trying to find their own picks. And that's not how these Ramatra-based compositions work. I mean, you have the Hanzo and the Tracer, but you still need to help and back up your Ramatra or he gets focused down too quickly.
Exactly, and they were stuck down there on the low ground. Sure, Amplify gave up a little bit of time, but guess who was holding on to it to make sure it didn't flip over? That was Tap. Boat has been pushed back. They really can't engage. They're just putting poke damage onto Doge. And PGE, look at this. We were talking about the high ground of the last map, Ray. They are now on the high ground themselves and getting away with so much.
Yeah, I mean, once you win that first fight and you allow a Hanzo like PGE to just have that high ground, they have to work to get him off of this high ground. It's the same situation that they were in with Lukewarm on the previous map. They swap over the Diva now, which I like this idea. It's going to allow these dives to go after this Hanzo, but it puts a lot of pressure on the Winston with these micro missiles.
Exactly. It keeps him on the back foot, but Doge doesn't care. They're going to take out your Hanzo with nary a care in the world. Boat is going to be able to return the favor with that nice pulse bomb. Both of the teams have lost their Archer boy, and it's going to be a moment in time where we're trying to figure out who is going to be able to come up with something. Boat got that nano boost. It's just not able to get much out of it just yet, except for a point flip, which is kind of a misstep here for Amplify, but they're still looking for opportunity to be able to get a pick. It's going to be a Primal Rage here for Doge, and they have taken out Deco. And what was a misstep that I called was perfectly planned out here for Amplify. They gave up a little bit to get a lot, Ray.
Yeah, unfortunately, Calman, I think, accidentally woke up that sleeping Winston and Primal. It was a great sleep coming out from neutral, but because they got woken up, Deco was able to get focused down. Now, O3 Splash has to quickly struggle to get the point, but their Diva's demeched.
Diva's demeg. Diva put back into the spawn room. Amplify is looking very much in control, especially here with this Winston dive composition. No one even able to touch 100-9 in favor of Amplify. Ray, what a turnaround here in round 2.
Yeah, I mean, Doge is known for his Winston play, and we just saw that coming through in spades. The positioning and knowing when to dive in onto these different players, the Hanzo, the Tracer, the Ramatra, knowing when to take those battles. He played it so well, and O3 Splash just looked so distant, so separate from each other, and they never got their footing after they lost that first fight. But we come to Icebreaker now, where Ramatra is going to be the name of the game as we see both teams coming out on that. My question is, what is Lukewarm going to stick with? You think the Symmetra is there just to get your team out there fast, but what does Lukewarm go?
Yeah, back over to the Sojourn. So we're seeing pretty much round 1 happening here on round 3. Both of our teams ready to prove what they can do. Round 3, it's all or nothing if they want to be able to take Antarctic Peninsula here. Amplify had a little bit of difficulties on this Ramatra composition, but look at this, the determination to go in. That was a perfect ice wall from both to try and separate Amplify away from each other. A lot of damage has been taken out, dished out, and O3 Splash is going to be the one to suffer the casualty. Boat falls, and it's going to be Calman to follow shortly thereafter. Amplify, great. It's a complete difference from what we saw in round 1.
I mean, it's the Reaper. If you can sustain and win these fights a lot faster, your Moira's able to pump heals into the Reaper. Your Reaper's able to punt damage into the Ramatra, force out that Nemesis form early, and then that's it. The Ramatra is just so squishy at that point as a tank. I mean, you don't even think squishy as a tank, but Ramatra is very frail without that Nemesis form. And, you know, coming in this next fight, look at Doge. Already almost has this annihilation.
Has to be a really good feeling, especially what happened in that round 1. Lukewarm, though, not going to make things, not going to leave themselves out of the conversation. The railgun onto Tap, but this annihilation has been activated. It's going to be O3 Splash to try and get out of there. Boat's not going to be able to say that they were able to get that. Deco is the focus target here for Doge. this target acquisition from Amplify, especially Doge, is unreal, and who they want to go after. And then you throw in PGE, Ray, it is the cherry on top.
Yeah, and stealing away 10 percentage points for O3 Splash is actually a big deal because you force out 2 ultimates out of Amplify. You get to come back 5 of your own. So as long as you have good ultimate rotation coming to this next fight, you have a chance to be getting a lot of percentage once you take this point.
We're going to see what the ultimate cycling is going to be like. They were able to get away with a lot, using only a few ultimates. Neutral set Amplification Matrix to start things off. Doge is in a really rough position, trying to get out of there quick, but Lukewarm is going to take out PGE. It's Cowman rotating themselves around. The Annihilation has ticked away, and the only casualty that was suffered was by the hands of Lukewarm. Now the Blizzard has come out. 3 ultimates rather, here that Amplify was able to get away from O3 Splash. Point is going to be flipped, but Amplify was able to get 80% before losing it.
Yeah, they're in a really good position, that is Amplify, because they get to come in with the Blizzard. The key in this next fight, Sam, is Deco on that Lucio. Has to have that sound barrier online and ready to counteract this incoming Blizzard from Tap. That or the Blossom that's going to come in from PGE. You got to be ready if you're Deco.
Deco is going to have to get the timing absolutely perfect here. You're 100% right. It's whichever ultimate do they think is going to be the more deadlier one. PGE's Death Blossom or Tap's Blizzard. That's something that Deco needs to run through inside of their mind. Lukewarm also has this overclock, though. If they can maybe get rid of either Tap or PGE, that saves them a lot to have to worry about here. But Amplify was waiting to build up towards the Coalescence for Buddy. It's just going to hunt them down, but there we have it. Lukewarm already hitting off one, build up with a fully charged railgun shot, throwing them out onto Doji. It's a massive amount of damage that they're taking. Deco's sound barrier was just not going to be able to do anything there because they used it to save themselves from sound barrier. They used to save themselves from the Coalescence. Amplify back in control.
Yeah, Lukewarm found 2. Picks gets picked in the end. But oh, neutral going down. That is going to spell disaster for O3 Splash, Sam.
Not good at all. O3 Splash, they're running out of time. They need to get back on there as quick as they can. And they don't even have a full roster to go to it. Deco has been eliminated. O3 Splash has lost a lot of their maneuverability. And guess what? Doge is annihilating. They want to annihilate O3 Splash, and they want to be able to take this map of Antarctic Peninsula over time. It is going to take away, and indeed, Amplify has done it. Map 1 of Antarctic Peninsula going to them.
I am just so impressed with how Amplify is playing. This DPS line of Tap and PGE has been so impressive. Tap has just been a nuisance, whether it's on this May with incredible walls, or we saw it even on sub-level, on the Tracer, just constantly a nuisance. And then PGE has just been that stalwart output of damage and not allowing Cowman to do what he wants, just forcing the Ramatra to be uncomfortable.
It's forcing them to be uncomfortable, forcing them to play how they are dictating the map, and it was done so perfectly here from Amplify. Right, we go back, we think of what they accomplished in the spring series. It wasn't the greatest of seasons, but this first step, that's a really strong statement to be able to make for themselves, a really strong way to be able to say, hey, this is what we are capable of, and this is what we are wanting to set for ourselves, the bar that we want to push.
Yeah, their pace was incredible. When you're playing that Moira Lucio, as I mentioned, that Moira has limited heals. So you have to win those fights extremely quickly because you're going to be against a Baptiste who is not limited in the heal department, even has an immortality field. So you have to force all that cooldown out so quickly and still win the fight. So playing at the fast pace they are is just, it's just beautiful to see.
Indeed so. What else is beautiful to see is going to be the next map that we are going to, and that is Numbani Ray. So this is going to be something a little bit different, a little bit interesting here for our hybrid map, something that I definitely wasn't expecting.
Yeah, my guess is, it's a little surprising to me because we saw how good Amplify is on those Winston-based compositions, and that is what Numbani is. It is a Winston-based map, but we all forget they have Infected just waiting in that locker room, waiting to shine. Because Antarctic Peninsula, it's a Ramatra map. Ramatra's more of an off-tanky style kind of hero, and it fits Cowman's hero pool a little bit better. So now you probably get to bring Infected in this map, play the Winston, and it might be a whole different story for O3 Splash.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're thinking of here, right? This is the O3 Splash, they looked good, right? It wasn't, we're not saying that they did bad whatsoever. The first round especially, they looked clean. They looked very confident in what they wanted to do. It was just when Amplify was able to switch over to Winston, that was when they really started getting the ball rolling, and that was when they started to get the confidence for themselves. Now going here onto Numbani, well, things could be massively different. Things could be really, really impressive, and indeed so, Ray. Looking at it right now here for O3 Splash, bringing out the big guns.
As we see Lukewarm going over to that touted Ash, which I'm very excited to see. Very well known for that hit scan, so can't wait to see how this is going to go, especially defensively. Ash is so powerful on this map. I mean, look at all of this high ground Ash has to play with, and the long sight lines you have to work with. It's just a playground for her. And then we get to see Boat going up against PGE on this Tracer. I mean, on the previous map, Tap was the one on the Tracer, so I'm very excited to see these two new players coming into this map, playing the Tracers, gonna duel it out.
They're going to duel it out. We're going to see which one is able to make the most impact. The doors have opened. Amplify up 1 in this series so far in this round 1 Contenders Summer in a series. Still, though, O3 Splash looking for the opportunity to come back, and choosing Numbani may be able to actually make that happen. You can see Tap is just getting absolutely mullered right now. Looking for an opportunity. Both of the Tracers already proving themselves very, very capable. 1 for 1, but Amplify has lost Buddy. That could be a little bit rough, but Tap has so much room to maneuver around with this Echo. No need to worry about Lukewarm trying to take you out of the skies. Indeed so, Amplify looking like they've already gotten 2 ticks of the Chevron so far, working their way towards the third one, for O3 Splash is regrouped and starting to fight it out once more.
Yeah, but the issue was you got both of the healers if you're O3 Splash, so Amplify is forced to completely retreat. I mean, it's going to be all on Lukewarm to help deal with this Echo Echo Mercy combination. So we see Lukewarm perfectly positioned, but got taken out early by PGE. So he's doing his job. His job is to disrupt Lukewarm and not allow him to go after this Echo.
Exactly. Doge dived right onto there, but Infected getting the memo is going to do the same exact thing. It's just Doge is not going to be able to survive. Infected turned their attention right back onto them, has eliminated the main tank. Amplify has nowhere left to go except for to try and fight it out. Could rotate around a little bit. That was a pulse bomb thrown out by PGE, but Lukewarm is going to be just fine. We're still trying to pick off. Getting healed up by Power Boost is going to be a little difficult.
Yeah, these strong defensive positions are going to be the key for O3's fight. If you can just get one pick early in this fight, it's just going to snowball for you. As we continue to see that as Buddy gets taken down, they're just, it seems like Infected coming in, as we mentioned, the leader of this team. It's just perfectly shot calling, seeing the positions of these supports. Ana has no one to guard them. It's not like there's a Brig super vulnerable to a Winston dive.
Yeah, exactly. It's so difficult for them to be able to survive through. Tap is going to try and fight out of the high ground, but Deco, guess what? Whip shot and Power Boost right back away. There's nothing going to keep this Tap alive. They're forced to actually switch over onto the Winston duplicate, but Boat lands the stick right onto them. It gets them out of it almost immediately, and now Amplify just has to back away. They've lost Power Boost. There's not much they can do here.
It only cost you your nano and your pulse bomb if you're O3 Splash. After a kind of rough first fight, they have really found their footing, but they're going to have to be very weary. This Valkyrie nano combination comes in.
Yeah, they want to give Tap everything, all of the possibilities, but Infected is going to stall things out with a Primal Rage, and Lukewarm is going to toss Bob in just as an extra insurance measure. And this Primal Raging Monkey has come up big time. Buddy has been taken out. From PGE, the double kill, taking out Boat and Infected, giving Amplify this point A and the payload.
Wow. When it was all looking bad for Amplify, I was about to talk about the urgency with a minute left on the clock. PGE comes in with the pulse bomb to save the day. Incredible. Now we look at this point B. I like what Amplify is doing here, taking this high ground staging area away from O3 Splash. And they use so many ultimates to try and continue to hold that defensively. O3 Splash is relying heavily on Boat with his pulse bomb.
Yeah, they're going to have to see if Boat can get the same value that PGE just did, or at the very least stall things out a little bit more so O3 Splash can gain some ground. But look how far Amplify is pushed up, and look how much ground they've already taken, Ray.
Yeah, it is ridiculous how much car progress they have gotten unimpeded as we see PGE on this high ground looking for some kind of pick. Looking for Lukewarm, actually doing a great job of pressuring him.
absolutely knock them off of the high ground. They're going to stay down here for just a second longer before they can even get back up. Instead, they're just going to duel it out on the ground, taking away a lot of that. Guess what? Tap is now able to go in, the duplicate onto the Briquette, and it's going to continue to push forward even more and more. Here's the rough thing, bro, for Amplify that just happened. Boat is taking out Buddy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when you've lost your on in this fight. Lukewarm cleaning up. That is finally some defensive footing for O3 Splash, as they didn't even have to use the pulse bomb. They were able to build up to a nano, and that really secured it for them. But because they were able to win that with only committing the nano, look at these ultimates they're coming up on. They have the pulse bomb still, Bob's coming, Primal's coming, and Amplify used 2 of their key ultimates.
Infected also reads this perfectly on when they need to get out. They don't stay in longer than they need to. Even when they were hit with the anti-tape, they were still getting some poke damage, building up towards that primal rage. Then when the rest of the team of Amplify were coming in, immediately out of there. That's what it gives Infected just that little bit of an extra edge. Now Amplify, though, Buddy throws out the nano boost. It's going on to tap once more. They're trying to get them out as quick as they can. Neutral is going to fall. Luke next, a beautiful dive, beautiful coordination from Amplify, and it all came off of that nano boosted tap. That's what you needed, and that's what Amplify brought out, Ray.
And that is being the aggressors, Amplify. Defensively, O3 Splash was just trying to hold with their positions. Amplify's like, nah, we're getting aggressive, nano onto tap, and we are going for your next, going for that support line. And there was nothing O3 Splash could do. They're not even going to, it looks like they are going to contest just in time.
Just in time, less than half a meter. Lukewarm, the Bob came out. Tap is going to give it a little bit of a laser beam. Infected, holding on to this point where the Primal Rage can't give it up. He's going to rely on the rest of the to try and find a pick somewhere, but that was a beautiful snipe onto Buddy. Now without the majority of their healing, it's going to have to be Doge pop the Primal Rage, seeing if they're going to be able to equalize things back out, but O3 Splash is looking very healthy in their health department, as a matter of fact. Tap is going to go ahead, pop the duplicate, though. Amplify is popping a lot of ultimates to try and win out here on this side. I mean, you were just under half a meter, Ray, but it doesn't look like it's going to be in the cards for them until PGE comes back in with another pulse bomb. But without their tank, there's only so much you can do, Ray.
Yeah, they have the Brig on the point who has the rally, but that's just all she's going to be writing. But they actually commit the nano, which is very surprising. They don't even get the kill for it.
No, they don't. They're just going to go into the back line. Infected, backing away, wasting as much of that rally as they can. Hit with a dash, stunned out. But it's time to dive back in and look for more target. Cannot get off of here. Amplify has to stay on. This is overtime now. A really good sleep, but Infected has been woken up. PGE has done what they needed to do once more, but can they continue this rolling through? Most of O3's Splash has gone down. The only ones left is Infected and Boat. Infected is now gone. Boat has to throw out the pulse bomb, seeing whatever they can get. But in the nick of time, Tap especially, PGE did it on point A. Now it's Tap's turn to do it on point B. Amplify getting the point on overtime.
I think that was kind of a mistake, in my opinion, Sam. Them going for that nano, trying to get that kill, especially with Amplify coming back. Then you're able to pop that rally, and there was nothing they could do. The sustain was there, and you waste your nano, so you had nothing for that final push. So now with Splash on this third point, has some ultimates built up, so they're looking pretty good defensively here, as Amplify had to use a lot to get that third point, or second point.
Yes, they did have to use a lot, but they still have something in the tool chest to be able to use. Contender is going to get that nano boost, but what can a monkey empowered by nanobots in their bloodstream do when Deco pops the rally? And then you have actually going in your backline, tearing through everyone when they're inside of their own primal rage. It's not going to be much. Amplify needs to regroup quick though, Ray, because they're about to have less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, when you got Boat in the back line just completely tearing up your support line, that's going to be a major problem. But look at just look at this O3 Splash. I like where Infected is holding on this high ground. It gives them a nice little perch to figure out where Amplify is going to be coming from, and then they'll be able to dive onto those isolated targets. The good thing is, I mean, Amplify has made that swap over to the Brig. They've been on it. So you have Buddy who can be protected, but we've seen O3 Splash is so good at going after Buddy.
They are really good at going after Buddy, and now that Lukewarm has put Bob out of the field, it's just that little bit extra ease that they can get out of it. Deco has taken out PGE. That's a massive victory for O3 Splash. They're going to look for more opportunities. Infected has been given that opportunity with a nano boost, dive right into the backline. Even though they've lost Deco, so much more damage has been put onto Amplify, and now they're going to just Doge inside of the Primal Rage. They're not going to be in it for too much longer. Now they have to try and survive. Wait out for the reinforcements. With a half health that they have, no healing to give them any life whatsoever. PGE, a death sentence to be thrown into there. Overtime is ticked away. Amplify gets 59.35 meters.
I do feel like if you're O3 Splash, I mean, great, you stopped them on third point, but you had so many opportunities on that first point and on that second point to stop them there. It's got to feel, you know, a little bit like, like you're leaving something out there on the table. But they have their condition to tie the series up. O3 Splash cannot afford to go down 0-2. You know, reverse sweeps are far and in between. We don't see them as often. You know, they're hard to be able to come back like that. So, I've liked what I've seen with Infected. His just ability, as you mentioned, to go in, knowing when to dive in and knowing when to just get out of dodge and be like, if I don't get out now, I'm going to die, is just going to be the key factor as we progress on Numbani to whether O3 Splash is going to get this victory or not.
Yeah, it really does come down, right, where in these Winston matchups, which tank is able to dive into the backline and get away with something, and the coordination that you need to have between your team. O3 Splash looking a little different here, though. Lukewarm maybe teasing us a little bit of that, little far action here, but Amplify is still sticking with what worked for them, what they felt worked best on Numbani, this Winston lineup with that Echo on it.
Excuse me. And looks like O3 Splash is going to play the same game. They're going to have Boat on this Echo, and Lukewarm is just showing the flex god he isn't.
No way.
Look at Doge completely slept. This is bad.
No way, that is unreal. Neutral was primed and ready to put Doge asleep. They do get out of there, but look at how much you gave up in order to let that happen. O3 Splash has built up so much ult percentage off of it. Beautifully well done. That put Amplify on the back foot, and now O3 Splash has thrown themselves onto the point. Big damage going out, hit with the sticky grenades, but Doge is still hiding out on this high ground. They want to take out Boat, and a nice snipe is going to confirm that kill. Putting themselves up into an aggressive position, try to keep off the rest of O3 Splash, hit with the anti-nade back up on the high ground, Ray.
However, you did give up a tick in response during that fight if you are Amplify. So you put yourself in a pretty strong position if you're O3 Splash. Because if you can get a team wipe here, you're easily going to get the 2 ticks. Sometimes if you get a team wipe and you're building up to 3, the team has a chance to respond and get back.
And that was also a crazy whip shot from Power Boost, pushed away. Infected now is going to keep them on that corner. Tap has built themselves up. Oh, sleep again. These sleeps have been crazy from Neutral to control the situation in ways that benefits them the most. Up into the air, Tap has to build themselves up to that Primal Rage. They have indeed done so. You're looking at Doge as well. Hit with that power, hit with that nano boost. It's putting out a lot of power, outputting a lot of power. Lukewarm is able to walk away with a kill on Buddy, but that's all they're going to be able to walk away with.
Yeah, that's so tough, Sam. I don't know. I mean, you're in a small, confined room as your supports, and you're dealing with a duped monkey and then a nano Doge. Like, what are you supposed to do if your support's there? Like, we're just getting double zapped here. But O3 Splash coming back. They have a full chest of ultimates to work with here. They have to get this point right here and right now, Sam. It's going to take the wind out of their sails if they can't get this.
Exactly. O3 Splash, all of these ultimates in their pocket, and to start things off, of course, Infected has been hit with that nano boost, but I'll tell you who else has been hit. PGE hitting Neutral with that pulse bomb. O3 Splash, a majority of that healing gone. You kind of had to rely on Deco's rally, but you can't rely on it anymore, not if they are gone. O3 Splash trying to put whatever they can out there. It's just Infected and Lukewarm again. This duo, Amplify, looking so solid. They are beautiful now, Ray.
Oh, is Lukewarm just close?
The Lukewarm stick. This might just be what O3 Splash needs. If they could just hold out long enough for the Infected reinforcements to get in, but it was just Lukewarm by themselves. No one was able to benefit off of that pick.
They weren't. Another Winston is forcing away the Echo, and they were in such a really good position. Now all the respawners are coming back in from both sides, and Amplify has the ultimates advantage, Sam. It is not looking good for O3 Splash. No ultimates whatsoever, and they're not even close.
No, they're not. It was echoing what you said earlier. That was the team fight they needed to win. They had all of the ultimates in the bank, and guess what? Amplify has 2, but this is a really good way to start things off here. Did you see give O3 Splash a will open away? And it was like I said earlier, Ray, we cannot discount them until the battle is over. Same could possibly be said here for Amplify, but O3 Splash is going to take point A.
O3 Splash said, we don't need those stinking ultimates. We're going to come in completely dry and win this event anyway. And what was that? They just threw away their rally. What was that? I absolutely cannot believe that. I mean, the responders were not even close there. That is baffling to me. As we move into point B, O3 Splash, they get to take that deep breath. We got the point, but they're not satisfied with that. They still have to cap this point B and get it all the way to tie this series up. But Lukewarm, once again, has this pulse bomb. But I just feel like Lukewarm has had so much on his shoulders. I mean, he's been delivering, but what more can you ask from this guy?
Well, we're about to find out what more you can ask for. Putting down the pulse bomb is just going to be a little bit of damage and a little bit of disruption over there. Not quite able to secure the kill before having to regroup with the rest of the team. But of course, we have Doge. Nano needs to fight off Infected and this duplicated boat on the Briquette. Throwing themselves up onto the high ground, working, moving over with Amplify. A lot of damage going on to Power Boost, but Buddy is going to make sure their teammate survives through it. You're going to see Infected have to go back over, do the same thing, push away Doge, who's so dangerously low, and they are going to make that space for themselves.
And now you get the high ground control if you're Infected, and you got this this primal to use, but Amplify can respond with it. I mean, PGE, this pulse bomb could just bring everything home. Okay, this is ridiculous.
It's still kind of back and forth. Lukewarm and Infected, though. It's what they needed to get done and how well they are able to do this. O3 Splash relying on the ultimate of Deco and Infected to be able to survive and to get this point. Now, they just need to get to 59.35 meters and they win Numbani.
The power of Infected, Sam. Just that jumping to completely keep track of tap and get a couple of those primal hits to allow Boat to then finish off the Echo in the sky. That is just ridiculous skill coming out of Amplify. I mean, coming out of Infected for O3 Splash. I mean, again, we're going to see Pulse Bomb versus Primal in this fight, but look, we already found one!
Oh, that's unreal. Lukewarm found one, but Tap has taken out Boat. It's a support for a DPS, and I think for Amplify losing out on Buddy, losing out on that big chunk of healing is going to be felt massively because Doge stuck inside of that room, barely gonna get away with their life. Look at what to hide just to try and survive, Ray, and they can't even get out.
And they've lost Doge in the process, and it's coming so close to the end. 2 minutes on the clock, and Amplify is grasping for straws at this point, but they come back. Double support ultimates is what they're living on for a prayer. 1 meter to go!
1 meter to go. That's all they have, and things are looking really good here for O3 Splash. Lukewarm blowing the doors wide open. Power Boost has been gone. You take away that rally. Buddy needs to use this Nano Boost and has given it to Doge. This monkey needs to come up big. Doge needs to find something here to push away O3 Splash. The anti-nade onto Lukewarm may be just what they needed. Now empowered and boldened by this rally is going to give them the breathing room. Finally, Bray, just at over half a meter, just over half a meter. We're still gonna see things fight out here. O3 Splash is gonna need to regroup.
4 ultimates that O3 Splash had. They just used the rally and the pulse bomb. They gotta come clean right here, right now.
And if they were able to find massive success without ultimates, how much are they going to be able to find with all of the ultimates in the bank? I'm telling you right now, it's looking really good. It's going to be Power Boost juggled inside of the spawn doors. And just like that, O3 Splash top things up in this series 1-1 on Numbani.
Woo! What an insane map from O3 Splash. I mean, I feel like these teams just want to give us heart palpitations. This is a crazy series. I mean, all these maps have been so tightly contested, but at the end of the day, Infected coming in with that leadership as well as Lukewarm on this Tracer, absolutely dominating the lobby, has just been the keys to O3 Splash's, regaining of confidence and coming back in the series.
It's that confidence, though, that we kind of missed out on in Antarctic Peninsula. They look so... I mean, the first round... it was 100-99, so maybe not quite there just yet, but this Numbani was a completely different story. We give it to both of these teams, however. Amplify put up one heck of a battle. It was just that O3 Splash, the coordination between the teams and realizing that, okay, we can do this if we put our heads together and if we have the right coordination. Just Infected was basically saying, hey, just go off of me and we'll see what we're going to be able to do here. Ray, I think we need a break, though. Things have been unreal. And now we're going into our map 3, which we'll find out what that is going to be to this break. Now, I know that we're in summer, but things are really starting to get hot right now, Ray.
Kid you not, I'm sweating.
I know, right? I'm sweating over here. I can't contain my excitement anymore because O3 Splash and Amplify are both sitting 1-to-1 with each other. An unreal way to start off round 1 here in the Contenders Summer in a series. Now, we go on to our third map. This one makes a lot of sense, though, right, Ray? Which is going to be Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to see how this goes. I mean, we saw in this previous map, Numbani, Winston-based maps, You know, especially with Infected in the game, seems to be a really good spot that O3 Splash likes. But that map was very close. Came down to the final minute for O3 Splash to secure that victory. Because, I mean, the Winston picks for Amplify have also been incredible. I mean, PGE has just been impressing me on the DPS line. And Tap, man, they have been shocking me.
And those two, it's like you said, literally quite shocking what they've been able to help set up for Amplify and what they've been able to give this team, which is what they need, hope and the confidence to be able to give themselves something a little bit further. Now, we're seeing O3 Splash on the defense. We're a similar composition to what we had from Numbani. Amplify, though, this is a little bit of a different look for them. PGE trying out, look like they were hanging out on Cassidy, maybe teasing us with Ashe, but still looking a little bit different than what we had on Numbani.
Yeah, I mean, and we talk about how good the high ground is on Numbani. It's even better on Watchpoint, and your sightlines are even longer. Like, this is the map where you start even considering wood. I mean, not as much anymore with her damage fall off that she's had, but Ashe is just what the doctor ordered. I mean, the problem is they kind of got rolled on the first point on Numbani when Lukewarm was on that Ashe, and when he started to play Tracer on the attack, that's when they started to roll. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out specifically on Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Yeah, we saw the tap Symmetra TP over onto the other side. Give Amplify some better positioning to be in. Infecting him with a beautiful anti-nade, getting away with just a tick of health. 50%, getting the heals back up that they needed. Beautifully well done to get out of there, but Amplify has so much to be able to maneuver around with. High ground is still in favor of O3 Splash for the moment.
Yeah, positioning on this map is going to be so big for these Winston players. Knowing when to take this high ground and knowing when to try and drop down contest car and try and, you know, keep players away. As we see the battle for the high ground ensuing, but Doge is forced away.
Doge is forced away, and we're seeing the buddy system at work here. Amplifies, power boost, and buddy, making sure that they keep each other safe and alive. Mission accomplished. O3 Splash still holding firm and trying to keep Amplify from getting too much further under this underpass.
This is the hard position for the attackers. As Doge gets really low, they find Deco.
They do find Deco. O3 Splash, the defense is going to start crumbling now. Neutral, infected, gone. Tap is just on fire. Unreal what this Tracer is doing. Still pushing forward. Amplify going to take this point A in a pretty good amount of time.
The key, again, they sent absolutely everybody on their team to that high ground on the box, able to take it away from O3 Splash, and then from there, you're able to stage your dives if you're Amplify. PGE is able to have all the sightlines in the world, and then they're just doing a great job when Infected tries to go up there to do something about it. Power is just there to whiplash him away.
Indeed so, and now we're seeing O3 Splash. It's that kind of coordination that we want to start beginning out of them that Amplify has been giving to us. Infected on a lone mission right now, looking for isolated targets that they may be able to get away with. O3 Splash in firm control on top of the carrier itself. Amplify, that was a really nasty anti-nade that hit on top of them. The recovery is so clean to keep themselves alive.
And you got Boat, who's just prodding, looking for a pulse spot. But it doesn't matter, they found Buddy again, isolating again.
What did Infected just do? A triple
Nano,
kill.
that's what he did.
A nano boosted Infected is something that you always have to respect. Now finally O3 Splash gets some breathing room, and all it took, Ray, one ultimate.
Exactly, and even though Amplify comes back with a full tool chest, because it only took one ultimate, you have plenty to try and combat this next team fight with if you're O3 Splash. Again, I like what Infected's doing, at least controlling one of the doorways. You're not going to be able to simultaneously cut off both their ways to the high ground, but you can't let them have both completely free.
Oh, what was that pulse bomb? What, he just walked right on top of it. Both coming up big time with a necessary pulse bomb that's going to scare away Amplify for the moment, and a nice anti-nade once more. Lukewarm, coach gunning themselves up onto a much more ideal position to lay down the fire, and Amplify is scared away.
And this is where things are so dangerous for Amplify, because Lukewarm can just play this whole rocket ship area and just completely have his way with Amplify. It makes things so difficult, and it's almost impossible for Doge to get up there and stop him.
Amplify has a full tool chest of ultimates, and to start things off, it's going to be PGE's Bob. That's a really scary position for Doge to be in on that high ground, pushed away almost immediately. They're trying to find something, and there we have it. The Primal Rage is going to indeed be that something. They want to go for Lukewarm by themselves. Infected might just be able to get out of there. Nope, hunted down by Tap, losing out on their tank. O3 Splash. They're still going to play together, and they're still going to try and survive with the three of them, especially with this rally. It's going to give them just that little bit more of an oomph. It's going to be answered in kind with Power Boost Rally. Not quite what we saw out of Numbani. Thankfully here for Amplify. Away they go, but they're still alive, Ray, and that's the most important thing. They can still fight things out here, but no one's going to touch the point.
Yeah, and I mean, that was all predicated with Doge's Primal Rage, completely disrupt everything that was on top of that rocket ship, and because of that, Infected had dove in looking for a kill. He almost got it, but because everyone was all split up from that Primal Rage, he had no heals because no one had the sight lines. As we now approach this third point, I mean, again, look at this positioning Amplify is taking. They are putting PGE in the best possible position to succeed.
The important thing, too, is that the supports are hanging around with them. If things start really going sideways, one or the other is going to be able to keep them alive. What an unreal step. And a double kill to go along with it for Boat. Now they're seeing, all right, it's time to get the brigade. It's time to get the rest of them out of here. Running them down one by one. O3 Splash. That is what they needed.
We call that from deep. That was a ridiculous like yeet of a pulse bomb to still get the stick at the same time. You know, big props to Boat. Let's see if Tap can match that success. They are coming in with a pulse bomb of their own, but the key going to be Buddy has the nano advantage over neutral, so Doge is just gonna have free reign.
Doge is gonna have free reign. That's something that you are gonna be very scared of if you're O3 Splash. How much more are they gonna be able to get? Not too much. Power Boost tried to get out, but Buddy was just not in the right place to be able to give them that healing. Boat dived right on top of them, meleeed them off. Amplify losing on that brig. Still able to find some picks here though. Deco's gone now too.
You can't let that happen if you're O3 Splash. You go and get powerless. As we now see the nano coming in, they found neutral. Oh, this is not good, Sam. This is not good. But with these change spawns for Watchpoint Gibraltar, it's going to make coming back a little bit easier for O3 Splash.
Yeah, Infected has to pop the Primal Rage. They cannot go down here. And even more so than that, they need to be able to find a pick. Somehow, some way, Amplify is slowly approaching. But guess what? Amplify has so much on their side, and an EMP really just to make sure that no one is going to be able to get away with anything. Tap and PGE, the DPS duo of the Dream Team, the combination has brought Amplify all of the way, Ray, with 1 and 35 seconds on the clock.
It's actually a really impressive time bank for Watchpoint Gibraltar. So shout outs to Amplify, man. Doge is just playing so well on this Winston. Just is able to completely disrupt. I mean, I talked about how hard it is to get them disrupted off that rocket ship. He was patient. I think he knew the way he was going to have to do that was with the Primal, because you can just get whiplashed off that, whipshotted off that rocket so easily. So you got to have the ability to re-engage much quicker with that Primal, and he just did it so beautifully. And Amplify, I mean, PGE even making that very smart swap to the Sombra at the end, and he built up to that EMP so fast. So I'm just in awe of Amplify right now. They're making very smart changes on their compositions when, you know, at the right times when things are necessary. And they are just playing so well as a team right now. O3 Special, we mentioned, were probably a slight favorite coming in, are now have their backs against the wall.
Yeah, they had to go, Ray, all of the way. And ideally around the same time, 1 and 35 seconds. Amplify, we sung the praises of what O3 Splash has been capable of, but I don't think we've been doing that enough for Amplify either. The coordination that's required for them to be able to find great success against a team like O3 Splash with players on that roster like O3 Splash is beautiful. Okay, but that's also beautiful from Lukewarm. Power Boost was just basically giving it to them for free.
That is ridiculous. Coming in with the early Widow pick, you don't see that very often, especially with the nerfs we've seen to Widow. But man, just look at, they're just completely forced back. Lukewarm just applying this pressure.
It's going to get bullied out of the high ground by Tap, but I mean, some of the damage has already been done. And we're seeing in a similar situation that we saw on round 1, O3 Splash is going to get that payload underneath the underpass. Amplify still is going to get their reinforcements in. Power Boost, an unfortunate head click onto them, but guess what? They're back with the team, and now they're able to fight at a full fighting power.
But again, like you mentioned, the damage is done. The problem is I'm not liking this high ground approach from Infected. We saw previously Doge took the high ground away and used that as the staging ground, and we're not seeing that coming up from O3 Splash.
Yeah, they need to go back up onto the high ground where their Ana was to get the healing. Being on that low ground, now they're going to go back down onto it. PGE is going to try and duel things out here, but Lukewarm, the combination of Boat and Lukewarm was just good enough to secure that headshot kill. O3 Splash is doing this in record time, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, they got Lukewarm onto the high ground like they needed and gave him all the sightlines he needed, and Lukewarm is just doing lukewarm things. As the touch comes in just in time, they still have to win this fight to get this secured.
Yeah, and PGE had enough of being bullied, switching over to the Sombra, maybe to be able to find the success that they had on that last stretch of land. Look at how much damage Doge took. The nano boost had to be used, otherwise things were going to go completely sideways for them. Infected has also got the same thing here, but just at the last few seconds, we're seeing both of the briquettes go down. It's just on the side of O3 Splash. They're getting theirs back up. Beautiful sleep, though, taking away a lot of the stresses with what Infected could have done here. Buddy is giving them rigmarole now, thrown over all the way onto the other side. Infected making down Buddy, but they've lost their entire team in doing so.
Infected said, listen, you are going down no matter what here, and that Prime is now Doge able to pump Prime of his own.
He's going to have to go back in. Infected needs to find something in that back line, or Boat can as well. One of the two of them, and they have been able to do that. Power boost is out of here. Now, Doge to follow shortly thereafter. So much damage is being done here. Still, though, Amplify managing to hold on and buying themselves a lot of time to take away from O3 Splash.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the key for Amplify was draining that time on the clock. And in the meantime, as you mentioned with PGE making that swap over to Sombra, they now have the EMP online to be able to use. But O3 Splash already knows the name of the game. Take control of this rocket ship, and they're already doing that beautifully.
Oh my gosh, how do you do it, Lukewarm? Teach me your ways. One tap and tap right in the head. O3 Splash now not having to worry about the Tracer gives them so much room to work around with, Ray.
Just look at this. I mean, when do you see an attacking team just have complete control of the rocket ship like this? Normally, it's the attackers just trying to take this away from the defense. Look at Doge trying to go after the attacking team up there, but the EMP is going to seal the deal.
That EMP is going to seal the deal. That is what Amplify needed. Things are starting to look very grim. It's going to get the control of the rocket ship once more, and more importantly, it's going to give them control of this space, right? The space that they've lost, much better for them. All it took was the one ultimate.
They were able to secure a lot of distance on that cart, and with 3 minutes on the clock, all they have to do is win one fight to secure point B. And like you mentioned, the time bank is going to be a big deal because they have 1:35 on the clock, so O3 Splash has to get things going on this next attempt. It's just going to be tough when you're looking at double support ultimates from Amplify, and not only that, but, you know, just a tap pulse bomb on top of that.
Just a tap pulse bomb on top of that. Or maybe just throw it out there and see Deco going down. Tap does use the pulse bomb. No one's going to be blown up just yet. Everybody's happy and safe. Infected, Primal raging, but that anti-nade is going to give them pause, worry, concern. Out they go. But still, even though they retreat, gonna walk away with a pick onto Doge, who's in that back line just as well. Tap is gonna win out in the Tracer duel. Things are still looking like it could go either way, Ray.
Yeah, but with your Tracer off the field, it's gonna make things so tough, but the Nano comes up in a nice sleep!
No way! That is exactly what needed to happen there by Buddy. It's still going to try and find it out here with the rally. Infected has been taken away out of the nano boost. Hit with the anti-nade as well. Unreal. Amplify. The Buddy system coming in clutch once more. It all hinged on Buddy being able to land that sleep dart. Now they have, and look what happens when they're alive. A nano boosted Doge is lighting O3 Splash on fire.
And that's the difference, Sam. We saw the sleep that was landed onto Infected. It was not landed onto Doge. And you just see that Nano taking full advantage and just melting those supports, and just back to the spawn room you go. O3 Splash, it's getting a little dicey here, but they are going to have a lot of ultimates coming this fight, but PGE has this EMP once again, and it has been a team fight win every single time he's been able to whip that out.
Every single time. Third time's obviously the charm here. Oh, they're just going for it, Ray. 3 caught inside of it. Neutral, Deco, lukewarm. Infected realizing that had to dive back, regroup with the team. But there's no team to come back to, Ray.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a breakdown in communication. I mean, you got to feel like you're tracking that ultimate and know the EMP is online. So if everyone's going to dive in like that and just leave the supports out to dry to get EMP'd like that, I mean, they do get this ante onto Dojo and it forces him to back out. So this allows O3 Splash to take some of this high ground, but is it going to be enough?
Is it going to be enough, right? Amplify still has 2 ultimates. We're seeing the pulse bomb being thrown out. Unfortunately for Tap, still the same tune that we've been whistling for quite some time. Not going to find anything out of there. O3 Splash, this is their moment. That rally from Deco, now lukewarm to use the Bob. Really wanted to put the pressure. Doge in a really awkward position, but they can get out of the awkward position with that Primal Rage. Buddy's been taken out. Amplify has lost a lot of healing. Needs to rely on Power Boost Rally, but how can you really get out of it? Primal Rage needs to be done here to buy time, or you just be able to get picks like that. No more supports on the field until Buddy is able to get back there, and we're seeing the effects of this happening. Somehow, though, Doge is coming up massively, hit with a nano boost. They're holding on to your life in overtime, and Amplify have done it, Ray. Boat has to be the last one to touch it here. Throws out the pulse bomb, hoping to dream, but Tap is going to blow up. Boat instead, time has ticked away, and Amplify has done it here on Watch Point Gibraltar, taking the lead 2-1 now on series point.
It's so tough, Sam. I think, you know, we saw on Numbani, right? When Lukewarm was on this Tracer, was absolutely kind of running the lobby. Then you come into this map and you put Boat back on the Tracer going up against Tap. In this scenario, we have seen that Tap is winning at this battle against Boat, and it is just making the huge difference, having all that damage, and then you get Tap able to dive on those support lines in the back line, and it just makes the job of these supports for Deco and for neutral so much more tougher. I mean, we see them constantly going after Buddy, that is O3 Splash, but Power has done such a great job of adjusting and protecting him much better.
Exactly. It's the way that Amplify is able to work with each other. And that's something that I think that we harped on a little bit, right? This is a new roster. This is maybe needs some more time to gel together. But after what we're getting tonight, Ray, it feels like they've been a team that worked together for years. They feel like they have the synergy complete and total synergy in how they want to accomplish this. And now for Amplify, if they can close things out here on our next map of New Queen Street, this series is going to be theirs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming this is loser picks. So if you are in this situation that you are for O3 Splash, I mean, you're going to pick the map that best suits your play style. And I'm assuming that's going to be infected in this game. My question is, are they going to go with more of a Winston-based composition, or do they try and change it up? Because, I mean, they're 1-for-1 in the Winston battle. I mean, they won Numbani playing the Winston. Then they lose Watch Point Gibraltar, but I mean, that was kind of a stomp on Gibraltar. Numbani was really close. So I think Amplify has the slight edge in these Winston battles. So, I mean, what do you do here if you're O3 Splash to get yourself back in the series? Do you try and counter pick the Winston? Maybe, you know, you go like a Junker Queen, or maybe you go a Ramatra, or are you forced to just try and make some slight adjustments to the way you're playing your Winston composition? Maybe put Lukewarm on the Tracer this go around and you try and ride that to victory.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities here for O3 Splash to be able to find some success, and they need to find it here on New Queen Street. There's no other opportunities. If they don't, they're going to take this round 1 loss, and it's not the way that you want to start off the contender cycle. At the very least, you want to bring it to a 3-2, right? So, I mean, looking at what you've been saying and listening to what you've been saying, yeah, there is some changes that need to be happening here. It's just so far that infected on the Winston, we did see them, and we know that they're really capable of it, but sometimes it just feels like the follow-through isn't there. The communication, especially, just isn't there with the rest of the team. They're kind of disjointed. We saw that especially happen when PGE got that unreal EMP. Every single time they got it, it was a team fight win. And you had to wonder what the communication needs to happen in order for them to get success. It's like, once you realize that infected is gone, just go into the back line and kill them, get rid of everyone back there.
So this might kind of give us a little peek into what they are expecting to do here, which is O3 Splash. They have Cowman coming in for Infected. So Cowman is their off-tank specialist. Are they looking to go Ramatra? I mean, we saw Ramatra. It was, you know, a very successful, whenever they were in the Ramatra duel, they, you know, it was pretty even. They won a map on it. And so maybe they're going to use that to try and counteract this Winston. Or maybe you go Diva. Cowman's Winston is, Diva is ridiculous. So, you, like I mentioned, you put that pressure with the micro missiles onto the Winston, and then you're just able to do small little dives with Diva.
Yeah, what can you get with Cowman versus Infected? And you brought up some fantastic points there. We saw them use a multitude of different tanks, and obviously there it is, going over onto the Ramatra. Amplify might be giving us a little bit of a tease with Doge on the Wrecking Ball, but if they go out with it, I wouldn't be surprised either at this point, the way that Amplify have been playing. O3 Splash, though, putting a lot onto Cowman to find success with this Ramatra, bringing out what they had on that Antarctic Peninsula map.
I'm very interested. This is kind of a similar composition to what actually Team USA was playing on New Queen Street in the qualifiers with this Wrecking Ball Tracer Sojourn. So I'm curious to see how this goes, but Neutral's already found Doge.
Stuck there, the back line. It just goes in, gives them a little Wrecking Ball, gives them a little ham, and that's going to be good for O3 Splash to be able to start things off as the bot unlocks now. PG hiding out in this off-angle position to maybe try and be able to get a kill, but maybe we might also have some small technical issues going on here, Ray, since we are back on screen.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a reason why that fight went the way it did. Because in an ideal world, the ball's not the first one to go down in those fights. He is he's not the squishy target. He is very hard to kill with his mobility and all of that. So maybe that had something to do with it, but I like the idea of this Ramatra composition. If they can all stick together, I believe they had the Mei there, so it adds that slowing effect to the Wrecking Ball and kind of disrupt what he's doing ever so slightly. Like sometimes if you just throw a Wrecking Ball off by a second or two, you can confirm that kill or not let him get to that health pack in time.
Exactly. It's all about disrupting the timing of that Wrecking Ball, throwing them off that sort of muscle memory that they've built up. And like you said, being able to secure the kill. Now we're back into it. We're still at the same place that we left off here. Things are good to go. Same kind of can't be said here for Cowman. They're hanging on by a thread, now held up back to full. But Tap is going to make sure that that's not going to happen for too much longer, especially when you see Doge rolling back in.
Yeah, I mean, already 25 meters gain and Bone has found Tap. They're just finding new life and new blood in this Ramatra-based composition, and it might go back to comfort. Not that Infected's a bad player, but they've just had more time with Cowman as a team throughout the previous contender season.
And look at how they position themselves inside of the tube, Ray. It really makes it difficult for Doge to be able to get away with anything. You just have Cowman push it, and they're able to get the heals that they need. It's going to be them trying to pile drive back in. Both immediately pops the ice block, and Cowman built up to the annihilation, built up to it before being ripped out of it by PGE's beautifully executed railgun shot with the loss of Cowman for O3 Splash. Seems like Amplify are going to right the wrongs that have been happening.
Yeah, I mean, very well coordinated with this die. I mean, that's going to be the key for Amplify if you want to take advantage of this Wrecking Ball is coordination. Having the Discord Orb on the target that Doge is going at and having Tap being able to sync up and add that layered damage at the same time. So, and then PGE being able to focus and throw in those rail shots for that extra damage. All about coordination.
All about coordination, and that's something that we know Amplify has in spades, especially also having in spades the amount of ultimates that they have. Is it going to end now, though, PGE? You pop that overclock. How much value are you going to be able to get out of it? You're right in the front lines. Not the most ideal position to be in, especially not when Cowman is ready to start annihilating, and even though they are so dangerously low, O3 Splash, course correcting, and is getting the bot back under control.
Yeah, I mean, coming back with that annihilation online, I mean, we saw on Antarctic specifically, Cowman is just on it when it comes to these Ramatra-based compositions. So I am, just very happy to see Cowman doing so well. Lukewarm has his pulse mod. I think that's been the key once again. Lukewarm on this tracer, but they found Deco.
Found Deco out. A beautiful execution, and speaking of execution, Lukewarm is going to execute Power Boost with a beautifully well-placed Pulse Bomb. Now, Doge is going to pick up the bot and start pushing it back by themselves. Wait for the rest of the team to come in while they're doing the damage that needs to be done. Cowman is just going to try and get in. The Nemesis form needs to be activated. Any form of survival needs to be found, and they're going to try and rotate around this pillar, working with the wall, but it's just not going to get too much out of it.
Yeah, but the key is coming back to this next fight for O3 Splash. This EMP for Boat is going to be the dagger. Cowman, wait, what? Why are you committing it there? That makes no sense. I mean, they get the kill. Wow, they're actually making it work. I can't believe it.
They're actually making it work. They did the call. Wow, oh my word. Boat had 6 HP. Wanted to hack the small health pack to get the extra boost out of the PGE. Hunting them down. Says no thank you. Now Lukewarm going on a tear of their own to try and right the wrongs of what just happened. Amplify still can't make the progress though, Ray. And that EMP, we questioned it, but it worked.
So we see Doge swapping over to the Ramatra. I wonder if it's a response to this D.Va, because D.Va can't eat any punches that Ramatra has. But as I mentioned, the micro missiles can do a lot to the Ramatra, but the hack coming in and gets lukewarm.
Gets lukewarm, and Doge is able to finish it right off. You're pushing them away and scaring them off. Neutral stepping over onto their tank of Cowmen to make sure that they're not going to get caught up in an awkward position. O3 Splash is going to give up a little bit of space, but as we know, Ray, sometimes with push, you give up a little to gain a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be about that balancing act of when to push, when to go there, because the considering rush, but the EMP could come in to completely just change the game.
It could be, and indeed so. There it is. The EMP has been popped. The Kitsune Rush not able to get much until just now, especially if Cowman's going to eat your Pulse Bomb from Tab. Unreal, Ray, right now, how O3 Splash is able to recover when things are looking so sideways now. PGE, right, Ray? Whenever they EMP'd, it was a team fight win. Not happening here on New Queen Street.
Yeah, as they're just trying to find an answer to this D.Va-based composition, and now they've decided to put PGE on this Reaper, but the big win here, Sam, is they have now secured the forward spawn, so we know just how crucial that is on these push maps.
Oh my gosh, Doge dipped so low, picked up, even though they got hit with the Pulse Bomb, coming in right in the nick of time is going to be the Power Boost Sound Barrier, but how much longer is O3 Splash going to be able to survive now that they've used one of their own? Cowman needs to back out, has the self-destruct, throwing it wherever they might possibly be able to try to kill before regrouping, remeching, and ready to get back into it. No kills are happening, coming forth just yet, but Amplify looking dangerously low in a lot of different positions until a Coalescence comes through and starts putting O3 Splash onto the back foot. Hit the hack, still pushing forward. Boat has to use an EMP, but that EMP is going to fizzle out.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that EMP. I mean, Boat had been fantastic up to this point, but your team was forced back to the Coalescence. They were all extremely low, and you expected to be able to have follow-up and take advantage of that EMP. It just was not going to happen. But because of these forward spawns, you're going to get a full regroup from O3 Splash. So you get to come in, you have a Pulse Bomb and a Kitsune Rush to work with here, but they have to be ready. Tap has to come through. He's now on the Sombra. Let's see how his EMP comes through.
Let's see how his EMP comes through. Hasn't found much success here on New Queen Street. Same kind of can be said for both. Either of these Team Sombras are kind of paused out here. Cowman is just giving a little bit of pause, throwing up the defense matrix, looking towards an interesting angle to try and down some spray for the rest of the DPS to find something, but I mean, Doge is going to strong arm neutral right back into the spawn room before continuing their efforts. A beautiful Death Blossom has come through, and even though Lukewarm has pulse bombed down Doge, it's just going to be PGE on this Reaper, doing what they do best, getting all the kills.
Yeah, but if you can get out of here if you're O3 Splash, you're going to have a chance to come back and recontest. That took a lot of ultimates out of Amplify. That's 3 ultimates. They're looking at double support ultimates. You come back, you're getting close to an EMP of your own, and this Kitsune Rush. But you got to be careful. Buddy has his Coalescence, and they have been very game-changing when they've used them.
Did see Lukewarm forced to hit the recall. PGE ready to get back with the rest of the team. Wraithing out of there for the moment. It's going to be a Kitsune Rush from neutral, but now we have the Coalescence from Buddy. It's already going to be Deco to fall, and with O3 Splash out of that Lucio, that means no more speed, means mo problems. It's just a Doge game, and we're all living in it. Ray, Amplify is going to not only get to this forward spawn, but going to try and even things up here.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to wait out this butt scratch mode, which is going to give a chance for O3 Splash to come in and look at this ultimate advantage they're going to have. If they can touch and stop this from happening, we're coming up on 2 minutes. This could be a really crucial fight going forward.
It is indeed, and that is beautiful from both. That EMP was everything and then some. Power Boost just couldn't get the sound barrier off in time to save their tank, who got ripped through like a hot knife through butter. Unbelievable from O3 Splash, just in the nick of time, literally 2 meters, just over 2 meters, Ray. O3 Splash saved the day.
Guys, they're going to have to back out there. And to win that fight with only the EMPs pick, and they find the pick on the buddy, this is bad because they're going to be able to get this across the neutral point. So now buddy is all the way at the further spawn. This is not good for Amplify as we're coming up on 1 minute on the clock and 3 ultimates that O3 Splash has. But Tap has the EMP. Could be the savior of the day.
Just like what Boat did for O3 Splash, Tap is going to have to make that same thing happen, but looking for the right moment to use it. You got to make sure that you time it correctly with Deco's sound barrier. You don't want them to be able to survive through it. And it's going to hinge a lot of this success for Amplify off that, or you can even wait until PGE builds up towards the death system, forces out the sound barrier from Deco. There's a lot of different options here, but the options have been expended, and just like what's happening once more, Lukewarm is gone, and we're seeing the coalescence from Buddy. That sustainability, that living capabilities are what exactly is Amplifying going to be looking for, and exactly what they are going to be getting. Amplify needed to use 2 ultimates to make that happen, but you did at least get the sound barrier out of O3.
It's all going to come down to the final fight, Sam. We are looking at a Death Blossom and an Annihilation versus the Kitsune Rush, a Pulse Bomb, and a Diva Bomb. If Amplify can bring this home, they get to come out of this match with the big W. But O3 Splash trying to force that map 5. Can they do it, Sam?
It's all going to be now or never. Annihilation, Lukewarm Pulse Bomb, throwing it onto Doge. So much damage, but now a Kitsune Rush. That's going to embolden O3 Splash to begin pushing forward as quick as they can. It's going to be up to PGE and this Death Blossom. They're just going for it, Ray. They're looking for the right opportunity, realizing that self-destruct is in the air. Just not want to get caught out by it. Waiting for the right moment. Now it's time to go back in. Hit with a hack. Cowman just cannot use that defense matrix, but even throughout all of this, Amplify's PGE's Death Blossom was not able to get any kills. Now the sound barrier has been expended. No one is going to be able to survive through this. PGE tried their best, but O3 Splash is going to stand tall throughout the other side of this team fight and gonna tie this up here on New Queen Street. We're now looking at a 2-2 scoreline.
What a series we have on our hands, Sam. Map 5, what a great way to start off this Contenders season, but O3 Splash came through in the clutch. I was a little worried. They used EMP Bomb there and didn't get a single kill with that, but they were able to use the back end of that EMP, find a pick. The sound barrier still came through, but it just wasn't enough. The team from O3 Splash with the backs against the wall find a way to force a Map 5.
Did find that way. It's holding our breath here, trying to figure out which team is gonna come out on. With this being the map pick of Amplify, a good opportunity here to be able to close things out. This is where O3 Splash needs to really put bets together and figure out what needs to be done. O3 Splash though took the risk, bring in Cowman, right? Let's get the Ramatra out there on the field. Found so much great success. Cowman needed to step up. Not only did they do that, but they did it in spades, Ray.
I could not agree with you more there. I mean, the whole team basically stepped up. I was so impressed. I mean, Lukewarm playing that tracer on them. I mean, that's what we kind of were talking about, was them, you know, being able to have that tracer gap on the map. And Boat coming through on the Sombra found, I mean, let's be real. They found the better EMPs this map. Previously, it was all about Tap and all about PGE with those EMPs. This time, it was the Boat story when it came to the EMP.
Exactly. It was the EMP that needed to end the team fight, and it happened almost every single time. There's a couple of moments where we had a little bit of a question mark, Ray, but hey, you know what? They won the map. That's all that matters here for them. And now we look towards the final battleground, the final map here to decide which team is going to take this round 1 win. And that is going to be, Ray, Lijiang Tower.
I am very excited to see where this goes, because this is, I mean, it's going to depend on the map draws we get, but it opens itself the door for, you know, Brawl, Ramatra if we get Control Center, dive-based Winston, Diva, Wrecking Ball compositions if we go to Gardens, and then anything goes on Night Market. To me, I've seen anything from Wrecking Balls to Orissas recently to Ramatras, so I cannot wait to see what compositions we see these teams pull out on Lijiang Tower.
I can't either. It's been a back and forth series this entire evening, Ray. One map for each team every single time. Now it all comes down to the final map pick choice of Amplify. Lijiang Tower is where it's all going to go down. And obviously, you know, even though this is round 1, it still sets the precedent, Ray. It still sets where you are going to give your team that confidence. But at the very least, whoever comes out the loser is going to be able to be satisfied that they brought it to a 3-2 scoreline.
I mean, at the end of the day, also, these teams have another game to play tonight. So the fact that this game is, kicking off the way that it is, I mean, if either team can be completely exhausted, but the winner could just ride that high of, clutching this up and bringing it home, the other could just be going on fumes and just disappointed. As we see both teams going to stick this, Amplify Symmetra with the Rhine, but O3 Splash is going to have Lukewarm go over to the Sojourn with the Ramatra. I love this idea of the Rhine versus the Ramatra. It's all about Rhine keeping that shield control and Ramatra just those cooldowns, that Ravenous Vortex, that Nemesis form.
The Nemesis form, which we're seeing Cowman trying to survive through with right now. Maybe being able to find a pick, and the maybes have turned into definitely's both. Once again, those icicles are deadly as ever, right into the face of PGE. But Tap is going to respond in kind, taking out neutral. That massive victory for them. Look at that though, Ray. O3 Splash realizing the target that they needed to go for. On the low one, ignore Reinhardt, go for them. And now victory point. Control to O3 Splash.
I mean, O3 Splash is playing incredible right now, just off the momentum of winning that previous map. But they're going to have to be very careful. Buddy is winning this T-Spout. I mean, big reason why was Neutral was taken out early in that fight. Neutral has to be extremely careful. Deco, look at the sound barrier difference. That's going to be the key here, is having that sound barrier on line for this incoming ultimate onslaught that Amplify has.
Absolutely. Buddy's just going to start us off here, putting down the amplification matrix, obviously. Now it's an Earth Shatter. Deco and Lukewarm caught inside of it, but they're not able to get the follow through to secure the kills. And that's actually going to have to be Doge to back out to survive Blizzard that Boat just put down on the field. And look at the massive amount of value they're getting out of it. All right, we're going to go on the other side of their TP, come right back and fall. Team kill, O3 Splash still firmly in control.
And they're able to bank their sound barrier, Sam, and Tap, because Tap didn't use that Blizzard. So very nice patience and awareness from Deco to know, hey, our team is sustaining very well. I don't need to use the sound barrier here because we know a Blizzard is going to be coming, and I have to be ready for that. So, I mean, the one thing Amplify has to be absolutely scared about, Sam, Cowman has another Annihilation. And we've seen what happens when Cowman has Annihilation.
Not only does Cowman have Annihilation, but they can have the sound barrier to give them that extra boost. It's going to be the photon barrier from PGE to cut things off, but Cowman doesn't care a lick about that. We're going to see the complete sound barriers going up against each other, especially to survive through this Cowman Annihilation. It's just not going to happen. Not with Lukewarm and Boat are doing this kind of destruction to your team.
I mean, that was pretty much an ult dump from O3 Splash, but you got so many out of Amplify that it is a net positive in the end for O3 Splash, because, you're back to square one. Amplification Matrix versus Overclock. So O3 Splash is just doing so well, they got a touch.
Yeah, Amplify, they full speed ahead. There's no brakes on this train. It's going to be the amplification matrix once more. It's a really bad position for Doge to be in. They have to rotate around the wall to find any lick of safety. Luke built back up to another overclock. Time to go ahead. Pop that once more. You hear a couple of tinks here and there, but the kills are going to start coming through. He's been taken down now, looking towards the rocket slides are beautiful. The movement is unreal from Lukewarm. Kill after kill is going in favor of O3 Splash. And Ray, where the confidence hadn't been found in map 2, maybe even map 3, or map 3, maybe even map 2, it is in full space here on the final map.
O3 Splash starting this final map out with a bang, absolutely dominating. Like, that wasn't even close. 99-0. As we now move into Gardens, which opens up the idea for these dive-based compositions if you're Amplify, and that is where you've hit your stride in this series. So I feel like this could have been, last map, probably not the best map pull for you with the RNG. This map is what you've been waiting for. This is the map you're like, yes, this is where we can succeed.
Exactly, and we're gonna see Amplify make those switches. It's back over onto the Wrecking Ball. They didn't find much success with it on New Queen Street. That's a completely different story here as to what could be happening on Gardens. O3 Splash is still gonna stick with the success they found on the Ramatra, and now they're gonna have to contend with a Pharmacy in the air, with really the only one to stop them being neutral.
Yeah, Lukewarm is gonna have to also be hitting on these rail shots. If you could get a good headshot onto tap with the railgun, I feel like you're in a good spot. But like you said, it's gonna be tough sledding for O3 Splash. You're gonna have to be playing extremely patient on this point using cover.
Yeah, Lukewarm hit the railgun shot onto Tap, but even though they were so low, Power Boost is able to bring them back up to full, and Tap has so much room to shoot through in here, but Lukewarm doesn't need to worry about the air. PGE is down on the ground, a railgun shot to secure that, and it's still going to be Tap firing through the window, but not able to secure any kills. O3 Splash just ignore them, take care of the individuals on the ground, and that's where they're going to find and succeed.
I mean, like I mentioned, the name of the game for O3 Splash is everyone as a unit. You know, hold your ground on these different chokes and stay on the point. Play around the cover. Don't let the Farah get easy rockets on you, and then you're just able to focus down anyone who comes at you. At this, like the Wrecking Ball is not going to be able to take you down on his own. He needs complete coordination from everyone, and if you can just focus the ball as he comes in, he goes down easy, and that just completely dismantles the comp.
Oh, O3 Splash is now over 75% of the way there. I mean, over 65% of the way there towards being able to find victory. Oh my word, you saw them trying to go for it, but Lukewarm denies it right in Tap's face, lands with the railgun shot, and then Deco to follow up with a kill on a power boost.
I saw that coming. I'm like, man, if you're the Sojourn and you get a good railgun headshot onto that Farah, she is just going to melt. And Lukewarm played that beautifully. But look at this. Amplify is coming back strong into this fight.
Yeah, look at how far Kelvin is pushed up. They may be annihilating, but they're by themselves still, though. O3 Splash, the rest of the team is finding some picks. Buddy's been taken out. Amplify loses a lot of that healing. It's going to force Power Boost to regroup with the rest of the team. This needs to be something that Amplify
overclock.
Wow, they are going to commit overclock. Lukewarm, that is a bold move, my friend, but the boldness looks like it's actually paying off. The Disruptor shot kills Power Boost. Tap's been taken out as well. No one from Amplify. Look at how close the point is to flipping over, but O3 Splash still in charge and in command.
That is ridiculous to essentially be down 2 in that fight. Lukewarm is putting on the carry pants on this map. He is not letting his team leave this match with an L. He's carrying them to victory.
A completely different control series from what we saw from O3 Splash on the Antarctic Peninsula, but the fight isn't over until the score screen comes up with O3 Splash or Amplify on it. Tap has been given the nano boost, looking for ways to use that rocket barrage, but still has been holding on to it for basically the whole game. That was really scary for them, able to use the concussion to reposition themselves, but PGE is gone. Now it's up. It's a Hail Mary. You just need to use that rocket barrage, only able to get Boat out of it. Now we're going to see the revive from Power Boost to bring back up PGE, get into the field, throw the pulse bomb. You saw the Cowman try to eat it with the defense matrix, but maybe now Amplify is able to find the success. Tap getting the knockoff kill onto neutral, and now it's just one after another. Finally for Amplify, a lifeline has been given.
A lifeline has been given, and now that you have control at this point, this is going to be where the power of this composition shines strong. You're going to now be able to offensively engage your dives while the team is rotating. So being able to catch O3 Splash off mid-rotation is going to be the key. Hitting those slams, having PGE there with the tracer damage, and Tap there to hit those rockets.
So O3 Splash making some big time changes. Is it gonna come out big for them? Yeah, it is. Tap's already gone. O3 Splash, as quickly as they lost the point, they're working on getting it back. No one left from Amplify really to be able to fight this out for too much longer. It's gonna have to be a moment from PGE if they can go in and try to stall things out here, but not even able to touch O3 Splash, convincing us on what they're capable of, Ray. What the precedent they want to set here in this Contenders Summer Series. Beautifully well done. A 2-0 victory on Lijiang Tower and a 3-2 victory here in series overall.
Yeah, I just am so impressed. This was the map of Lukewarm's destiny. He just came out just firing on all cylinders, wasn't going to let his team go home, and I'm just so impressed with Lukewarm's performance on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, I think we all are incredibly impressed by what they were able to bring to the table on that Sojourn. Right, she's been hit with a lot with the nerf bat, but still making her sing and getting so much utility, so much value out of her in a multitude of different ways is Basically, yeah, it was Lukewarm's map. It was Lukewarm's game, and it was what helped to win things out here for O3 Splash. But I think we're really impressed what we saw out of both teams. Ray, they played their hearts out, and they really showed us what we're going to be in for the rest of Contenders.
Yeah, Amplify showed out today. Very impressed with their team, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. But in the end, congratulations to O3 Splash. That is going to wrap things up for this game. We're going to go on a little bit of a break, and we're going to get ready for the next O3 Splash game. They will be going up against Afterlife. It has been Sam Talks, joined by 2 Tryhard Ray. Get that snack, get that drink, and we will be right back with that next game.